In my mind, what I was thinking was, if I have the money and if I buy the investment property, the property is going to gain equity regardless. If I hold it for 5, 7, 8 years. I did not know all the pros and cons, and I was at a very basic level in property investment market at that time, because my idea was, if I have 50,000 in my account, I can spend 50,000 and I can buy an investment property. But then Puru and Devraj, they educated me and said, you don't want to spend all your money, buying an investment property, and even if you're spending all that money, you want to buy something that's worth. So they asked me to wait for a little bit of time. Finally, we started looking for an investment property just around mid 2024, which is this year. The journey was exceptional. Devraj was really good. The whole team FMRE was amazing. And then, I was able to secure an investment property. As a student, like everyone else does, finished my studies within 3 to 4 years. And then I had a little bit of hiccup and I had to go back to India for a couple of years. But fortunately, I got my residency and started again over here in Australia in 2016. First few years, like with everyone else, we couldn't even think about buying an investment property. But then later on, as things started, when the COVID hit, we were able to save a lot of money, because obviously there was, lockdowns and everything. So we're not spending a lot of money during lockdown, and saved all that money. And then we bought our first property in 2020. But soon after we bought that property, we moved to South Australia. And, we realized after things went back to normal post-COVID, and interest rates started picking up, we realized that the property that we had bought in Victoria was actually not making us money, and in fact we were paying more out of pocket. So we sold that one off, and then that's when we got in touch with FMRE. I first got in touch with FMRE in October 2023, and back then I thought I was in a good position to buy an investment property. But then I spoke to yourself, and I also spoke to Puru and Devraj. And even though I had a good amount of money in my bank, they still insisted that I wait for another 6 to 8 months, so that, even after buying the investment property, it doesn't hurt my pocket. I was at a very basic level in property investment market at that time, because my idea was, if I have 50,000 in my account, I can spend 50,000 and I can buy an investment property. But then Puru and Devraj, they, educated me and said, you don't want to spend all your money, buying an investment property. And even if you're spending all that money, you want to buy something that's worth. So they asked me to wait for a little bit of time. And finally, we started looking for an investment property just around mid 2024, which is this year. And the journey was exceptional. Devraj was really good. The whole team FMRE was amazing. And then, I was able to secure an investment property.
Wow, that's phenomenal. I mean, in 3 minutes, you sort of given me your background, which is phenomenal. So let's maybe deep dive a little bit into these experiences you've had. So, you said you came to Australia in 2016, and of course, through COVID, you saved some money, and then you were also advised to save further money before we would buy something, not just with $50,000. Why do you think that advice was given at that point in time? We could have bought you something back then with 50,000, but what led to us to tell you that, okay, let's hold a little bit, rather than you actually just jumping straight away, although it was in our best interest to do that for you?
Yeah, look, again, as I said, my understanding of investment, real estate investment, was at a very basic level back then. In my mind, what I was thinking was, if I have the money and if I buy the investment property, the property is going to gain equity regardless, if I hold it for 5, 7, 8 years. And I did not know all the pros and cons. Maybe I knew 1 or 2 of them. But things like, if I'm spending 50,000, what kind of property will I be getting? How much of, equity will it gain within the next 1 year or 2 years or 5 years down the line? How much rent will it attract? How much will I be paying out of my pocket? Because when Devraj did not want me to sell my property off in Melbourne, which I was already paying $1,000 out of my pocket per month, and wanted me to buy another investment property, which will, see me in the same boat again. So back then the situation was such that the property prices were really high. And then with my budget, it was, a little bit difficult to find a property that would put me in a better situation. So this level of this level of information and micro analysis that the team did was just amazing. And not just experience, I can definitely say I got a lot of education as well throughout the whole process.
Amazing. And that will continue to keep happening as you're a client now, and we keep building the portfolio for you. Because one thing we believe is that if you are well educated and you have a practical understanding of what we are trying to achieve, how we are doing, you can see the goals, you can see where you're going, you are better aligned with yourself and your financial goals that you have. One. Second, it gives you further confidence to do what you're doing. And then you also build the right risk appetite, along the way. Of course, we are not financial planners or, brokers, or for that matter, even accountants, but our job is to bring the best that is possible within your resources that you have to deploy, and then see what can be. So thank you so much for sharing that, because it's not about jumping straight away just because you're ready with money. Here you go, sign up and I'll buy your property. It's about analyzing your situation, understanding that better, understanding your risk appetite, seeing where you are, and then giving you the right consultation that maybe it's not the right time right now. Get some more money before we do that. Otherwise, you're going to stress position, which we don't want for any of our clients. So that's